to show you. And if you can make it better than everyone else, you're competing against them. I know this sounds horrible. You guys are competing. Sorry to tell you.
So for us, it's like
You're competing for a grade, but you're also competing for, can I get this? Can I be something great? Can I show something differently than everyone else? Just being equal to everyone doesn't mean anything. You see? If you guys are all equally bad, then you're all equally bad. You know, if you're just trying to match whatever he's doing and I'll try to match what he did, go to the best one. And I guarantee you, you know who those people are. Whether they're in this class or in another class, go to those people and ask them, what is it that you do? How do you do this? Ask questions. Take down notes. Yeah.
sort of like highlighting what you're best at. If you're really good at sketching, then you sketch.
Yeah, then sketch. And try to make your whole project sketches. Like I said,
consistent?
Huh?
Keep it consistent?
Keep it consistent, or also explore and experiment. But you'll know, and I'm sure you know, like what you're good at and what you're capable of doing. If you're good at sketching, like you said, then you have possibilities. You know, sketch. I can do Rhino like you guys can. I can probably do it faster than you guys, but I start to sketch because I can do that even faster. I can put this together in like 4 minutes, and in Rhino maybe it'll take me 15. I'd rather spend 4 minutes of my life. I'm tired of spending half an hour, 3 hours on Rhino. After, you know, you guys have been using it, what, a year, 2 years? After using it 5, 6, 7 years, you're just fed up. How many thousands of hours I've spent on my life on a computer from 1997. Since 1997, AutoCAD, Rhino, 3D Max. You get sick of it. At some point they tell you every 15 minutes you're supposed to be getting out of your cubicle and taking a walk. It's actually unhealthy to sit there for more than 15 minutes. You guys have to be you have to be aware of this. I'd rather tell you the truth than lie to you. I'd rather tell you the truth than lie to you. Learn the software, but be free of it. Master it, but be like your own designer without it. Because the lights go off and you don't know how to sketch, next, you're out. Right? So sketch, build beautiful models. You don't know how to, in SOM when I was there, 5 years, the best designer in the office, and I'm talking the best designer, and I had just arrived, right? The best designer in the office, he had been there for years. The interesting thing was that he not only was the best designer, but you can see it in him. You could see it in him. And basically what I'm saying is like, well, what does that mean? So what do you guys think that means?
The confidence.
Huh?
Enthusiasm and like how hard he works.
Energy.
His energy.
Yeah, but how does he do that? Just starts dancing in the aisles? Like,
But the way he talks, he acts, the time doing, he doesn't dad, he doesn't like.
That's his language.
I know it's cheesy what I'm talking
How
about.
he spends his time.
He was the best dressed, right? The guy was always sharp. The guy like was always clean shaven, organized, very kind of like, you know, and everything, his tools, his desk, immaculate. His materials, like immaculate. Not like big fat cutting knife from Home Depot, little precise surgical tools, X-Acto blades and all these different types of blades, and little rulers. And he didn't race trying to cut, like struggling in big globs of glue all over his desk. His glue was in little compartments, hidden. All his papers, all his boards were thin, easy to cut, quick to glue. He would build models like this. He was an incredible model maker. So, you know, it made sense. The guy can draw, but he can actually make models better than he can draw. So when it came to coming up with an idea, who are you going to go to? The guy who can't do anything unless he puts it in AutoCAD, then prints some elevation in a section, and then puts it up on the wall, and maybe then goes get an intern to build a laser cut model that you can have it ready in 2-3 days, or, you know, Rob, he's going to go and he's going to build it for you in about an hour. He'll have 3 different options made out of strapping board, clean, immaculate. And if the model got dirty, he only threw it away and he made another one, because it represents him. It represents who he is. So if you saw smudges or fingerprints on his models, it meant, you know, for the partners, it looked like not very professional. You know, it's good, but it's a little dirty. You know, I can only imagine what he's like at home. Probably like a filthy pig. Probably pasta sauce everywhere. You know what I mean? It becomes part of who you are, your whole makeup. So you live and breathe it. It's not just like I'm good at it. It means that if you're good at that, you're good at everything. You're good as an organized being. Like you're organized and thinking and trying to organize and combine things and put them together. I don't want to go to, you know, some crazy level and say they're perfect human beings. They're not. They're not. But what I'm saying is they understand in order to get to that level, you have to perfect yourself. You have to be a master of your own self. Not a master of everyone else, master of you. Can you master yourself? Or are you struggling in the morning to get up? Or as soon as you're working there, someone says, hey, you want to go see a movie? You're like, yeah, let's get out of here. You know, quick to go. Then maybe this isn't for you. That's my answer. You know, so you have to make it into a lifestyle. It has to become a lifestyle, unfortunately. It's a tortured profession. I call it architorture. A lot of my friends, we all call it architorture because it's a lot of work and it's a lot of investing a lot of yourself, and people will not get you. Other people out there will not get you while you're working on a Saturday afternoon while everyone else is at the beach. So you have to come to terms with that. You have to like almost accept, and I accepted it as like a 19, 20-year-old. My life is not going to be filled with exciting, you know, nights of Fast and Furious. I'm in a car racing everywhere.
Isolation.
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 And I basically gave it up. And I said, you know what? My life's going to be very kind of, from the outside, it's going to look very dull and simple. People will be like, he never goes out. I never see him. I never see Peter anymore. I lost all my friends. All my high school friends, not once or twice, you can't come out. What do you mean? Gone. Then my college, who are your friends? Your competing classmates? See? So in the end, it becomes basically you have to be in charge of yourself. You have to be prepared for the long haul, the long journey, and you have to be excited about the fact that you can affect the world out there. You can make some great, you know, additions. I'm not saying, you know, I complain about the things out there, but I accept them. My attitude is I can't go around yelling about them all day because no one's really listening anymore. No one's ever listening. Can you just come up with another approach, better approach? So my question, all these things, I've been saying these things to you guys, is that I believe that you guys are noble. You guys have that power. I don't want to treat you like you're children and you need to be scolded and told what to do. I want to have you guys decide. I want you guys to wake up and come up with the great thoughts and ideas, because I think you have that capacity in you. And if you awaken yourself to that idea now, by the time you're 30, you can be doing some great things. That's my hope. That's my hope. Okay. But what I noticed, and I can tell from my own experiences, the ones who had it while they were in school still had it after school. Even years later, I meet them and I see them, and they still have it. The ones who didn't have it while they were in school, they never had it. And when they got out of school, either they became real estate agents or, you know, or something else, or they gave it up, you know, or they became the draftsman sitting there, and 5, 6, 7, 8 years later, they're still in the same office drafting for someone, right? So it's just, you have to decide what you want. If design is your life and it's something that you feel like you're really connected to and you're in love with it, then you have to make it part of your life. You have to like bring it in against all odds and against all pressures. You will have other people pressuring you all the time. You know, why are you doing this? Why aren't you just doing what everyone else is doing? Why are you not going out on Saturday, Sunday? Why are you sitting home working until midnight or 2 a.m.? I still work until 2 a.m. I don't, watch, everybody loves Raymond and go to bed. You know, you have to decide. That's all I can say. But the truth for me, like, even if it's just like, example, like evidence of activity, some activity going on, like, basically, like, what do they say, sci-fi films, evidence of life, this. Evidence of life for me is this. If you don't have this with you, you're a civilian to me. For me, you're a civilian. Just like there's military out there, so for me, the civilians are the ones without one of these. We're just walking around aimlessly, oh, let's get some milk, or, what are we doing today? Go to the museum, or a movie, or a Broadway show, okay? The world's out there, and there's plenty of that. But we're the ones who make those things happen. The set designers, the artists, the choreographers, all those people. The people who are talking about it, none of them actually perform. That's the interesting thing. You'll never hear dancers most of the time. You don't hear them. They're not the marketers. You have marketing people who promote stuff, and then you have people who actually do it. And they are usually the ones who get the least pay out of everyone. Right? Broadway houses, all these operas and so on. I don't know how much these actors and actresses get paid. These dancers. I personally have friends who are choreographers, and they don't make any money. And they work very, very hard. So anyway, you have to have a sign of life. You have to have a sketchbook. You can't call yourself an architect or architecture in training, because you guys are students of architecture, right? We can say we're all students of architecture. We continue to be even after school. You never end. It never ends there. So this is your first sign of life. Mental activity. Do you have a sketchbook? And you ignore everyone else around you. You sit and you sketch by yourself in some cafe, no matter what anyone else is doing. If you're the person who's like, I feel uncomfortable, grow up. I've heard this before, even from my wife. Once in a while, she's like, don't you feel uncomfortable sitting in a cafe by yourself sketching? Don't you think people looking at you weird? Piece of crap. Piece of crap. I'm not there to drink coffee and hang out and talk about nonsense all day. I'm there because I want to come up with some idea, or I want to work on something. Or you want to draw something across the street. In Italy, when I would draw, when I studied there, basically, if you're on a corner drawing, you'll have about 20 people approach you and say, oh, che bello, oh, bellissimo, oh, look at him, oh my God, incredible, incredibile. This is what they're telling you in Italy. And they're telling you, sei studente d'architettura. And you're like, yes, oh, bravo. They're telling you, bravo, you're a student of architecture. Here, you can stand in the middle of, it doesn't matter, Times Square sketching, and they'll run you over. Right? And people will walk by you and actually spit on you or push you as you're sketching, too. They could care less. So what I'm saying is, like, there are many realities. Just get all the perspectives, because they're very different. Go to Italy, and an architect is considered God. You tell people you're an architect, they're like, oh, architect. And then here, what? What did they do, architects? No idea. You're even trying to explain to your clients what you do. Why am I paying you this money? You just give me paper. I don't understand. I had one of my clients tell me that. But I don't understand. The contractor is the one who's building this. Why do I pay you so much money? You're just giving me paper. His wife was actually an architecture student. That was the crazy thing. And she actually had to tell him, honey, please stop, I'll explain later. She apologized to me. But I had to go home shaking my head. I was like, why? Sometimes you have to fire, Frank Lloyd Wright used to fire his clients.
That's funny.
Be like, okay, so you want a box? I'll give you a box.
He would fire his client, or he'd send them notices, like, I forget which house it was, they changed the finish, on the fenestration they put screens. And he basically sent a letter saying, the screens come down tomorrow. I never authorized any screens to be designed and put on, and you wanted any kind of design, you call me. You don't go and add something on my buildings. I know it sounds really arrogant. You could say, oh my God, so arrogant. But what the world out there is oblivious to is that the reality out there is our reality. We decided what the world was going to be out there. We decided, not some guy who's getting his coffee from the corner. He doesn't even have any clue. He didn't ask for it. He doesn't know anything about this stuff. He just assumes that this is the right stuff to do. Someone put it here, it must have been right. We have the choice. So So the idea is, if we're clueless, then our world out there is going to look clueless. It's going to be clueless. But if we were super beings, like I would suggest that we would want to become, then our world out there would be super. Right? And I think, personally, I think that we can enlighten people through architecture. That's what I feel. We can actually make people feel better. Health-wise, you can make them feel better. And you can inspire them to want to treat others better, to treat themselves better, and to want greater things. See what happens. Put someone in a cave or a dungeon, and see what happens to them in a month or two. It's architecture. It's architecture. Why do you think, like, you watch movies? I find it funny. Every time you watch a movie that has to do something with, like, a prisoner, look at what the dungeon looks like, or what the prison looks like. Very similar, isn't it? Right?
Mm-hmm.
Dirty, rotten, rats, blackness, soot, right? But imagine your prison, like they say in Norway, has these wonderful rooms, and they have your own Wi-Fi, and you have your, you know? And someone was making a joke, I think on the news, saying that, no, in Greece they were making jokes because of their economic crisis. People can't pay their rent, so they're saying maybe we should go to Norway and commit a crime so we can go and have free rent. They can put us up in these beautiful apartments for the prisoners, and put them in these beautiful apartments because they believe in promoting the criminal so that he can become better, which is a great idea, isn't it? That's what Norway is. So they actually give their criminals everything they could need: their gym, their Wi-Fi, library, access to magazines and all this gardens and whatever. And interestingly enough, they have the lowest crime rate.
They take away their women. They want to take away their women and their freedom.
Yeah. So they give them the limited freedom. It's almost like under house arrest kind of thing, if you think about it. And I think they even have visitors and stuff like that. So that's my answer to this thing is, like, what can you do to your presentations to make them incredible? And if you want examples, I've even brought, like, this was, let me bring this. You guys can go through this.